What's up, everyone? It's the God, Young Montu-Ra, and welcome to Montu-Ra, the podcast, where I talk about the good, the bad, and the downright dirty of music, business, and spirituality. What's up, my gods and goddesses? And we are back with another episode of Montu-Ra, the podcast, episode 10. We're 10 episodes in. I appreciate everybody for joining on today. We have a ton to discuss. I'm going to have to break this up in a couple parts because we have so much going on here in the month of July, making our way right through this Cancer season. Last time we talked about that full moon in Capricorn, and that's just the beginning. This is that halfway point. That summer solstice we had a couple weeks back. This is that halfway for all of us to kind of determine where we're headed these next 6 months. So just kind of doing a quick breakdown with July and what we can expect moving forward. Obviously, we had that full moon in Capricorn on June 3rd. On today, Mars is going to enter Virgo, so we're going to talk a bit about that. And then we're going to have Mercury is going to enter Leo on the 11th. And the new moon in Cancer, we'll do a whole episode on that, is going to be on the 17th at about 2:32 p.m. EST time. And then we spoke a lot about this Venus retrograde on the 22nd, getting us ready for this Leo season. Shout out to all my Leos out there. On the 23rd, we're going to have Chiron retrograde, and then Mercury is going to enter Virgo as well. So that's something that we're going to continue to reference. Obviously, we're about 1/3 through this month of July. So we're getting ready to really tap in and harness this bold energy that we've all been kind of waiting for and nursing a bit too with this Cancer sun, right? So obviously we're in Cancer season, helping us to be more self-protective under this influence, right? Our attention is turning to, like we've been talking about, is our nest eggs, our homes, our families, anything that makes us feel home and secure. And since we're kind of over halfway through this Cancer energy, while the sun is there, it's like it's still having us to nurture and care for our loved ones, our different pet projects that we have that have started to come into focus, and helping us to get more involved, especially with our emotions are running deep right now. But this is something to understand, is that we may not want to grow up and face some different responsibilities, especially with our outside world during this cycle, during this Cancer season. So we should definitely continue to watch out for being too dependent on others or situations. I do think, however, this transit is going to help us to recognize our needs for that comfort, that safety, and that familiarity. So this is something to help us to continue to create these strong bonds and protect ourselves and loved ones as we continue to move forward. And I don't know if I did say this, but this is your weekly cosmic forecast, July 10th through July 17th. So I just want to say that again. But definitely, let's continue to look at the cosmos with Mercury in Cancer. And this happened on June 26th. Like I said, Mercury is going to enter Leo. We're going to have a lot of Leo energy here these next couple of months. So, when Mercury is still in Cancer right now, though, it's helping us to move from our desires of for quantity with information. Instead, now we're moving to quality, right? We're going to be thinking, speaking, taking in information on a deeper level. And I know we've been doing that with this transit here. But this is something to kind of help us to be maybe less interested in the worldly kind of things that are going on, right? Because we're tapped into our emotions. This is what is interesting and making us more interesting with our personality and the people that we're close with, right? So our thoughts are colored by our emotions, making it more challenging to a degree to be a bit more objective, right? So we have to continue to learn that these are the details that we need during this cycle. We've been talking a lot about projecting ourselves in the direction where we want to go, but this Mercury being in Cancer for the past couple of weeks has helped us to find those details, especially on our emotions, to help us kind of tap in a bit more, to also help us to absorb this information that we're getting from our emotional backgrounds, our atmospheres, our setting, the people around us. We're able to pick up on these different moods and different tones. And I do see that actually helping us and being beneficial, is because now we can just be in places or understand different parts of our own kind of nature that maybe we weren't aware of at the time, or maybe we just are starting to develop this new sense of confidence in ourselves and our original ideas as well. So this is something that we have to continue to take with great interest. We're going to talk more about Mercury being in Leo probably on another episode, but while it is still in Cancer, this is something that is helping us intellectually uh, to be more personable, but also that heartfelt element is helping us to tap in on our intimate relationships and also to express ourselves as well. Next, we have Venus in Leo. We just talked about Venus going retrograde on the 22nd. So this transit is lasting for uh, maybe a little over 3 months. So this is an epic time for us. It's going to return out of that retrograde around September 3rd, and then it's going to leave Leo around October 8th or 9th, depending on your time zone. But this is helping us to magnify our love while Venus is in Leo. We're going to take even more pride with this love. Uh, we might be it might come out as us being generous with our finances, just being warm hearted, maybe just expressing our love to others. That extravagantness of this Leo energy, especially with Venus there, this is something can be a bit of a game changer, right? But this is us being in that romantic stage that we're trying to find or tap into, because we're feeding for this attention, right? We're desiring this acknowledgement, that validation uh, with our love life, with everything that we're expressing with ourselves, right? Because this Leo energy, especially with Venus there, we desire to be adored, right? We want to be pampered. We also desire to be admired to some level, right? But at the same time, this can come out in a negative expression of us overstating our feelings, maybe being, too extravagant, and maybe it's too fast for telling people we love them or things like that. So that is something to kind of continue to look out for. But I do see this being a very profitable time for a lot of us, is because now it's like, we're able to tap in with our love on what we do. When we're tapped into our heart center that we talked about, especially with Mercury being able to help us communicate with our emotions. Now we're actually tapped in with the Leo energy with Venus, with that passion. So I do see a lot of things happening with maybe contests. I'm getting involved in a DJ competition. I got to send in my mix here the next couple of days, so I'm getting excited about that. So it's giving me personally that passion. But this is also about maybe different art dealings that we've been talking about with the beauty and things that Venus represents, jewelry and things like that. But there's also a tendency for this energy to come out with a little drama, right? Because there's things out there, maybe in our internal world and our exterior world, that are just fighting for our attention. And you know what I'm gonna say? Save the drama for your mama, because this is something that we can use to actually stand out and be more remarkable, especially feel really special during this period. So we don't want any drama to kind of cloud uh, our gifts and this great time for us. Next, we have Mars in Virgo. Mars is entering Virgo on today, July 10th. So, this is going to help us to be that workhorse, right? This is something that we're going to have a passion for the details. And if you've been listening to my podcast, or if you've been tapped in with me on Bigo Live, where I'm doing live stream readings daily, we're talking astrology daily. You can tap in with me over there. That's a quick sidebar, quick plug, Montu-Ra, Bigo Live. But at the same time, this is something that is going to help us with this Mars and Virgo energy to help us to really pay attention to those details, have a passion for that. With that full moon in Sagittarius, I did say, and we did talk a lot about that, is shooting that arrow in the direction of where we want to be, and we're going to pick up the details kind of on the way. So this is what this Mars in Virgo is going to help us do, because we're going to need to do the right thing and just at the right time under this influence, right? We're going to have to pick up these pieces as we continue to grow. But the satisfaction of a job well done is going to be one of our greatest incentives, right? Because we're now going to be able to be more precise and concerned about our performance. Remember this Mars energy, the ruler of Aries is Mars, right? So the fire energy just wants to go head first. It's not even thinking about really details. It just wants to go ham and get it in, basically. But with this Virgo energy now, it's us having to be more concerned with the correctness and the details in our work, the output, our efforts. It's time for like a greater caution, skepticism, even more discipline, because we're going to tend to focus on those details in our game plans, in our businesses, in our careers, and the things we want to do. Now is the time to really look at that. Make sure we're looking at the fine print, right? Because sometimes the other end is like we might lose sight of the bigger picture. So we're trying to find this balance with this Mars and Virgo energy. Obviously, today it just started. Mars is going to be in Virgo until August 27th. So we have some time to really perfect our craft and kind of perfect our trajectory on where we're headed. But this can be like a perfectionist, like a workaholic type street. We might just have to you know, you know, get our boots back on and just get it in type energy. And I think that's great for all of us, is because now we're going to be excelling and being more interested, but also mastering our skills in whatever that in whatever area we're doing it in our life. And this is such a potent time, because I say that is now we're able to have like that clarity and that focus on where we're headed. We should all be kind of, if we've been listening or been kind of focusing on our astrology and our spirituality, now is the time, if we know this or not, to really tap into where our purpose is in our life, where we actually, or what we're actually supposed to be doing. We're going to be getting these different downloads, and we're going to talk about that later. But we should all be kind of experiencing on where we want to go. We may not have the things that we feel like we need, or we may not have whatever it is, but we all know the direction on where we're heading. And I do think Mars being in Virgo is going to help us to pick up the details of that. But also health is going to be very important during this transit. This is going to highlight a lot of or maybe even spotlight a lot of things with our health, with our nutrition, the healing arts. We might want to get in some things like that. But this is going to be a great interest on work, on our techniques, on our mechanics, on systems. Crafts is going to be a great energy, a great thing that's going to come out with this. And another thing is like bookkeeping as well, because you have to pay attention to all the little details of this. But also, I want people to understand this can also be a time of being irritable, a lot of tension, maybe that nervous energy, that Virgo energy, right? This is something that Mercury does rule Virgo as well, but this is something that I do see being of tremendous value for us, helping us to have that vision, helping us to overcome any lack of confidence because of us limiting ourselves. But also, this can help us to be more competitive as well. This is going to help us in a lot of situations, our routines, our work life, our healthcare that we talked about. With that Mars energy, we still have to talk about that fire of Mars, even though it is placed in the Earth sign of Virgo. Now it's going to help us to kind of understand the standards of our life, right? Understanding our routines, where are we putting our energy day in and day out. So this is going to help us to be more precise and efficient. I love that. And I'm going to do a full breakdown on that as far as the horoscope and how that kind of relates to the entire horoscope as well. But next, we have Jupiter still in Taurus. This is helping us to expand our awareness. Um, a need to establish ourselves and build up and build something. That's what we're using all this energy for. And I'm going to talk about, we don't have any signs in air. No air element is out there besides the moon when it is um, heading into Gemini right before that new moon in Cancer, and we'll do a full episode on that as well. But while Jupiter is in Taurus, it's still encouraging us to embrace our needs, our comfort, our security, helping us to stay grounded, building stability, collecting, and providing for ourselves. We know. This earth energy with this Taurus energy is helping us to be more practical. We're being more realistic. We're also being able to stay motivated to achieve our goals, because Jupiter is going to expand whatever we do, and good or bad. So we want to think about, okay, how can we build something that's authentic? How can we stay real with ourselves? How can we build a great foundation? There are going to be some different type of scams or type of get rich quick type schemes that we're not going to fall into. But during this cycle, I do think it's about focusing on our direction, giving us a clear goal on where we want to be, and then having us to value or devaluable the tangible results that we're getting. So we're going to attract this most good fortune that we want to do, but we're going to be steady workers. We're going to be generous, and we're going to also hope to be patient as well, because this energy is moving so fast. And like I've been talking about a lot, is things are moving faster, time is moving faster. um, so we have to understand that this is going to be very important for us to definitely focus on where we want to be, and using our resources to the best of our ability, but also looking at things long term. I remember this transit is going to be until about May 27th next year. So we have some time to really understand our investments, our financial goals, but this is about long term, setting a solid foundation so we can have success in years from now. Next, we have Saturn in Pisces. We know Saturn is retrograde in Pisces now. So this is something that is reality is just kind of hitting us a bit too hard, right? We're having these reality checks. We're having things kind of forcing or maybe showing up in our consciousness about how we are restricting our lives, how we need to set boundaries, or how we didn't set boundaries in different situations. But this is something that is helping us to build that structure, right? Encouraging us um, to take off those bullshit glasses, so to speak, and just look at the truth, right? The ugly flipping truth. You know what I'm gonna tell you. But at the same time, it's like this is also about us being having wishful thinking. Tending to our desires and our goals, and whatever it is that we want to do, but tending to these so they can flourish. Tending to our health, tending to our family, making sure that everyone is, or making sure we're the ones that's making sure everything is still flowing and still able to go and move forward. But this is something that I do see. This is about us like having some type of karmic energy that we're going to have to overcome, in a sense, good and bad, right? Because these are going to be valuable lessons that we're going to get these downloads. We're talking about Pisces, we're talking about the spirituality, we're talking about the subconscious, right? This is something that is going to help us to re-examine, especially with Saturn being retrograde, re-examining the ways we are asserting ourselves and getting that stronger sense of stability in ourselves, and which will in turn help our outer world have that stability as well. So this is going to help us to you know maintain our own status quo on where we want to be, and who we are, because we're going to crave that achievement. We just talked about that full moon in Capricorn that happened last week. Saturn rules Capricorn, so this is something that our work is definitely going to be something that we are going to be strongly motivated to figure out, or to do, or to maybe we want to change different positions and things like that. But this is about reworking, reevaluating, reorganizing, and reflecting around our own discipline and work ethic, and our own sense of authority in regards to our achievements, our accomplishments, as well as our future goals. So that is something we're going to continue to talk about with this retrograde Saturn in Pisces. Next, we have Uranus is still in Taurus. we've been talking a lot about this, about innovation. Uh, a lot of innovation is starting to emerge in our own life, right? This is something about us, these different changes with our money, our valuables, our possessions, our income. A lot of things are reshuffling our priorities, our values. Things are starting to ruffle some feathers a bit for a lot of us, and that is because we're heading to a new frequency. We're heading to a new light. So, income might come from non-traditional sources, right? We might be bringing some different progressive ideas to the world of business, new ways of doing business, new ways of making, viewing, maybe handling our finances, like we talked about. We're talking about this Taurus energy. It's all about security. When we're talking about finances with Taurus, Jupiter's there, Uranus is there. We're talking about being able to be stable and building that foundation. It's not necessarily having, I gotta have everything, I gotta have the most stuff. It's not that. It's about the Taurus, is about having stability, feeling secure, feeling safe. And that is just a part of the energy that we're experiencing. And that has to do a lot, most times, with our finances. But I do see Uranus, I always say, expect the unexpected with this new energy. But this is going to help us to be more progressive in our ideas and to um, obtain our resources in maybe some different ways that we weren't used to. So definitely, I guess we just have to look at that and see what happens in the future, right? Next, we have Neptune in Pisces as well. Neptune is retrograde. We have three planets retrograde, our outer planets. Then we're going to have Venus retrograde. So this is a time for all of us to really read everything, so we can move forward with this next 6 month period. So I love Neptune in Pisces. I love the way that this is tapping us into, Neptune is about the planet of dreams, right? Tapping us into our fantasies. Sometimes these fake illusions that we've talked about a lot. I was saying for a while, June 30th is that time where the veil is going to fall, and we're going to all kind of see the truth for what it is, and we're going to be able to make adjustments, because we want to use astrology and these different readings to be able to use it and not be used by it. And I say that all the time. It's like, we aren't the only ones talking about this, right? We aren't the only ones that are tapped into this energy, but at the same time, we can be fooled by thinking that it is something that it isn't, or it is, right? If that makes sense. So I will say, this Neptune and Pisces energy, Saturn and Pisces, both of them retrograde, helping us to rework our dreams. Maybe having these different fantasies that we're like, you know what, I can actually do this. Maybe I need to rework this, and then once all the energy starts to move forward, I'll be able to really capitalize off of. Those are the type of things we're going to have happen to us. We're going to have downloads. We're going to have a lot of different dreams, that are going to help us to kind of understand a lot of things that we have been misunderstanding for a while. Maybe this energy might have us to be, overly focused on a fantasy life, right? But this can also be like deceptive, is what I'm saying. So we're gonna have to really tap in and not jump to any conclusions before we really think things out, right? So this is like a dramatic experience we're all kind of having, right? Because this is going to have a huge impact, especially being retrograde. It's going to take months for us to figure it out, right? For things to unfold, especially with Neptune being so far out there. A lot of this energy takes time just for us to just notice it, right? So we still have some time for this, but this is going to reveal an important truth by the time this retrograde is over. So this is something we're going to talk about a lot. This retrograde is going to be from June 30th to December 6th. So like I said, we're getting ready for the 6 month period right now. When we get to that winter solstice, we're going to look back. We're going to be all in a better situation, and we're going to have to overcome a lot of different things. But this next 6 month period is going to be, you know what I'm going to say, epic. Next, we have Pluto in Capricorn. It is retrograde as well. This is an intense period. Like, things are breaking down, exposing the truth. renovating a lot of things, rebuilding our structures, our traditions, our own rules of our life. So this is going to compel us to explore deeply, not the fake stuff we've been talking, not the bullshit on the TV. We're talking about really tapping into our own ambitions, the life path that we want, things that are reflecting in our own life, because this is going to test our boundaries. And that is what this Capricorn energy is about. That Saturn is still involved in this Pluto retrograde that's tapped back into Capricorn. This is something, this transit is going to connect us with our core purpose and a deeper sense of our own power. That is what that is what everything is right now, is us reconnecting to our own power, tapping ourselves back into our God and goddess self. And that is why I say that all the time. It's like, because we are gods, we are all goddesses, we are all the cosmos, we are the entire horoscope, we are everything, right? So this transit is going to be intense to help us focus back on our lives. And that is why I love where the planets are today, because now this is going to help break that illusion and search for our utter truth. That's why I said taking off those daggone fake glasses sometimes that we wear, that we don't want to see the truth or try to hide different things from our own psyche. But those things are coming up because this is something that Pluto is just going to probe us to go deeper, shining the light on that darkness, because nothing can be hid. What done in the dark will come to light, good or bad. So this is a great time for us to have this rebirth. This is a chance for us to all evolve, and that is why we're going to continue to do this, is because Pluto is going to strip away the unnecessary, the fake, the bullshit from our lives. We may not even know it. Things might just start to disappear. You're like, oh shit, this person's out of here. Like, what happened? It's like they weren't on the same frequency. That's just all it is. But this is that rebirth. This is going to affect our entire life. Anything that has been holding us back, if we've been fear-based, if we've been having some things, confronting us about our dark side, this is something that if we are going to resist, things just are going to stay the same. And that's something I definitely have to work on, is letting things go. We're going to have to go with the flow with this new energy, with this new upgrade, is because sometimes the Most High takes us through these different situations where if we hold on, then we actually mess ourselves up, mess our life up. Then we just have to let go and just let the Most High do what it does best. But this Pluto is going to revolutionize our entire being. I appreciate everybody for tapping in on this week's cosmic forecast, July 10th to July 17th. Episode 11 will be dropping soon. I got a ton to talk about. But if you do want a reading, please send me your first and last name, date of birth, time of birth, and location of birth to official Montu-Ra at gmail.com, and we can talk about what you would like to discuss. But I think that's it. I love to talk, but I ain't gonna beat a dead horse. It's the God Young Montu-Ra, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.